What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Ekasi Esports YouTube channel. I am your host today, Perfect Zikali, and I'm not working alone today. I'm with my main man, Mr. Sneh.
Perfect.
How you doing, Mr. Sneh?
Hello.
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. I've been freezing. I've been dark. It's been a long week, but I'm glad to be back. I'm very excited about today's matchup. It's a nice kind of Sunday where some intellectual pursuits should be had. And I think as we're getting deeper and deeper into seeing these chess series play out, it's been more fun to see people like sort of adapt and it become more clear who's at the top, who's at the bottom. So seeing those play out on a nice day like today always puts me in a good mood.
Yeah, Dave. At least hopefully it warms you up, and hopefully it also warms up the people at home as well. And I'm also heated. You know, it's freezing. This entire week has been like very chilly, and it's not been the best week. You know, to like really go out to the beach or something. But you know, at least today we're gonna experience some heat. You know, we're gonna experience some heat. You know, and so you're gonna heat up the body a bit. Even if you don't have a heat, make sure to stay tuned into the Ekasi Esports chess series powered by Vodacom. This is week 3 of the chess series, and just to give you guys a rundown of what's happening, if you're new here, this is the Ekasi Esports chess series powered by Vodacom, and so we're going to be running 8 weekly leagues. This is week 3 of the weekly leagues, and each week 32 participants will ballot it out for the grand prize of 400 rands in cash. But second place and third place also do get something. They don't go home empty-handed. Second place gets 200 rands in cash, and first place gets 150 rands in cash. But it doesn't end there. The top 8 of this week will move on to the playoffs, where they'll go into the playoffs and battle out for a bigger and better prize. So there's still some more action to be had beyond this week. So make sure that you guys follow the Ekasi Esports chess series on the socials. Just follow Ekasi Esports on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, which is at Ekasi Esports. Make sure to also go to visit the tournament page, which is www.ekasiesports.africa/chess series if you want to learn more about the tournament. The link will be in the description, so if I lost you there, don't worry, the link is in the description. But yeah, so today is going to be a Swiss tournament, a 3-round Swiss tournament where the 32 players will play 3 rounds. So it's not elimination. So if you lose, they don't go home. So if they lose, they can still play the second match. They can still play a third match, where they can at least come back, you know what I'm saying, Snare? So at least they don't have to go home immediately. At least they can at least fight and redeem themselves, even if they lose their first match, you know, because those first game jitters, you know what I mean? You know what I mean?
We also want to give people the opportunity to come back, right? That the day should start and the day shouldn't end exactly the way that it began. So to give you the chance to adapt, change things up, make things more adaptable from your own side. So I do think that one of the things about the Swiss system as well is that sometimes it sucks to just prepare an entire day for a day of competition, and then you get there, you lose one matchup, and then you're done and it's finished. However, when you're playing Swiss, you get to still keep a competitive spirit alive. So each particular round, you're like, I just want to do better than I did the last round. Of course, if you're winning, that's great, right? Something to build off of. But if you're losing, you also have that opportunity to say, I'm not going to lose again, or even if I do lose, I'm not going to lose in the same way again. So 100. Definitely, I'm very excited to see the fact that there's going to be coming down to it in this particular way.
100s. And I guess we are left with like 2 minutes and just above 2 minutes and 20 seconds till the match starts. And I guess we can talk about the nice background that you have. I see that you got like some you know, you got a new aesthetic there. So okay, cool. I see you. It's a bit of competition. You know, I'm almost gonna go back home. I'm almost gonna like start upgrading myself too. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's looking fire. It's looking fire. But yeah, I guess we can talk about the top participants for this week. Last week we had an incident where actually the winner of week 2. So if you guys tuned into last week, if you didn't tune in, you can check out the video. It's on the channel. But for those who are tuning in, GS Payne, one of the players who had won, was found, doing some stuff that he was not supposed to be doing. You know, getting some assistance here and there, and you know that unfortunately led to his account being closed. I don't know if we should say unfortunately, but so Mans was probably getting internal source. So we recommend that if you are participating in this tournament, we recommend that please do not cheat, because you will eventually get caught, and if you do get caught, you're going to be disqualified Okay, so that's just a bit of a warning. But back, let's go back to the lighthouses stuff. Today, I'm looking at the participant list, and one of the players that I think we should really look out for is Rebecca Becker Joy. She is rated one just above 1800, and she has like an official FIDE rating. She's an officially FIDE rated player, so she's a person that we should really look out for in today's tournament. And I also recommend that you guys check out. We will show some of the matches, so be sure to stay tuned. And but like, I think the person who might take it this week is Rebecca, because she was a big contender last week, and at least some of the guys who were doing some illegal stuff are not here today, so at least they won't get in the way for those people who actually here fighting for that top spot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think the thing about when you're playing for that top spot, like you're mentioning, the fact that you have some of these players already showing that, I'm actually, you shouldn't, not even, don't underrate me, but everybody should be looking towards me as the upper echelon, right? I'm the person you should be painting your targets on. And we have a lot of high ranked players, right? Like you mentioned, we have Becca, but we also have the return of some people that we've seen do very well in the past.
Yeah.
But one of the things I think is quite good is that you did mention the unfortunate situation through GS Pain. And we were kind of hoping when we first saw the fact that a lower rated player is beating high ranked players that, someone that's just very good who, for one reason or another, their account isn't necessarily calibrated correctly. But I do think that when you have the situation with a lot of high ranked players, you know for a fact it's going to be good games without having to have the squeamish possibility of thinking, is somebody really on the up and up? You can just sit back and guarantee that, I'm just here to learn. I'm going to get the best matchups out of these people. And with the game starting, the game goes on, Mr. Perfect.
Yeah, let's just jump into the games.
Yeah,
we got some chess action. So I guess we're gonna start off with Bekra. My prediction for this week's winner. So Bekra is on the black pieces, and we got Marthinus. Martinez. He's on the white pieces.
Martinez, yeah.
I hope I didn't butcher your name there. If I did, I apologize. But so Martin is going against Bekra in the first round, and I think it's going to be another. This seems to be a trend where you get the highly rated player against one of the lowest rated players in the match. So I guess that's going to be a trend. So I guess in the Swiss style. But so far, looking at the board at first glance, I can see that Bekra has Silver Knights developed, but her black square bishop is still in its it's still in like its original position. Martin did has seemed to cause a weakness on the king side. Getting that H file pawn into the G file, and also doubling up Bekra's pawns on the G file, which will weaken the king side. And if she decides to castle, that could potentially lead to a king side attack from Martin that he could exploit. But looking at Martin's position, he also has one bishop that he hasn't developed, and he is also yet to castle, but he also seems to have pushed up his pawns on the king side a bit forward, which has opened up the king side position. So maybe he might look to castle queen side, because that side seems to be still intact. And so what are your thoughts, Sneh?
One thing I don't like about what he's doing so far, I was just going to say, actually, one thing I don't like about what's happening from Martinez is that there's a lot of the special pieces that have advanced forward, right? If you look at the placement on the board right now. But the issue is that, consider the difficulty for Martinez to fully open up. There's the castle that you were mentioning, right? For the full open up to happen for Martinez, for example, you'll need 3 moves with this knight that's sitting on c3. The bishop is in kind of a rough spot, and now with this pawn advancing move from Becker, it does mean that there's pretty much nowhere for the knight to go except for in a retreat. So there's very few aggressive moves that are left. I mean, you can make a move like that, but it doesn't help the board, right? Even if they decide to go for a free eat, I was gonna say either bishop onto c5 or the knight onto c5 makes no difference. Becker still in possession of some very good control. That was Martinez decided to make that move. That was not a good look.
Even the chess engine is no, Martin. As you can see, the advantage bar on the left went haywire and gave the advantage to Bekra, because that seemed to have Martin just seemed to have given away his knight. Or am I mistaken? Oh, am I missing something? I must be missing something. You know,
Uh,
maybe he has a plan.
nope, you're
I
not
don't
missing anything.
know.
That was just a straight up mistake.
Yeah, I feel like that was a
Nah, it
blunder.
doesn't mistake. It happens.
That was a
It
blunder.
happens. It is what it is.
Yeah, I guess that's the suckish part of playing chess on the phone because you have maybe if you have fat thumbs, you mistakenly hit a block that you weren't supposed to hit, and then your day is just ruined. Your day is just ruined after that little mistake. But yeah, looking at this position, White is not sitting in a good position, so I think this is a chance for Black to exploit this chance and maybe go for the attack. I don't know. Maybe exchanging queens could be something that she could Black could look to do. Just to weaken
I
White's
think she
position
needs
even
to.
more. Yeah, because at least in that way, White has less
Yeah,
of a
this
chance of
okay. We
coming
did see
back.
a rare mistake there.
Yeah, I just wait. Are we just no? I don't think it was a mistake, but
Yeah, we
that.
actually just got that move. So
Mhm.
no, I mean the mistake from Bekra. I don't think was like the super overall best move to have the movement going onto of knight onto d4. I think one of the issues with that move, right, is that now that they've repositioned with Martinez with the queen going onto d4, you now have this opportunity to threaten this rook that's sitting onto a7. That file is completely unprotected. You have to like reposition the queen on side of Bekra to adequately protect that side. So now, yeah, it's a free rook. It feels like there's no reason not to. Yeah, free rook, got a free knight out of this earlier on,
Yeah.
and Becker was in a very good position beforehand.
Yeah.
And one of the things that's always a risk about when you're playing these style without having to advance your queen is that the moment that you find yourself with the queen now isolated, you're in this really terrible position. For example, now you're trying to ensure that you protect this file with the queen, but that opens up the rook, and I was about to say d7 jeopardy, and you get the rook out of this on the other side, but you'll take this advantage because there's no way to press this check. So whatever, you just got a free piece.
Yeah, that was well played from Bekra. You just give leaving the king the knight hanging there and be like khali khali here, and then White decides to bite the bait, but didn't notice that by doing that the rook was under attack all the way there in h1. But that was well played by Bekra, and like seems like she's just going to destroy the position, White's position now, just getting rid of some of the pawns there. She doesn't really have much to worry about, because White only has a black square bishop. That could help back up the queen. So Bekra just has to be careful of that. But Bekra still has her castle and the queen still on the board, but I feel like she should still keep the queen close to the king because it does seem a bit the queen does seem to be a bit far away from the board, and plus it's blocked by that g4 pawn, so she has to get rid of it first, but it is protected by the queen, so she has to just find a way to get back into that position so she can at least back up the king. So yeah, this is going to be a tight match. Even if you look at the advantage bar on the left, it just okay, I was about to say it was even, but after that move it has given the full advantage to White. It has given it full. So yeah.
Yeah,
So I
I
think
don't like what I just saw there from Bekra. What do you
same.
think? Like, the way I think about that move, right? It kind of feels like Bekra was banking on Martinez not really playing hyper aggressively in that situation, and sort of thinking, well, I'm higher rated than you, maybe I can come back in this.
Yeah.
And now look at the position, right? Now you're stuck with only a queen, couple of pawns. Like your pawns aren't really in the most favorable positions. You're about to lose a file as well as b pawns. Pawns are all the way on the other side, completely unprotected, and there's no way to play aggressively with your queen because you need this in order to protect your king. There's no other special pieces you have left. Even if you're thinking about trying to advance for the pawn promotion, we already have this pawn that's sitting on f2, providing some adequate protection for the g file, as well as the pawn that's sitting on e3, providing f file protection. Very difficult to envision any of these pawns actually surviving the full trek. And you still have three pawns that haven't made a single move themselves. So it's going to be extremely difficult for Becker to win this. I think if she wins this, then I'll be like, yo, yes, this is some king level plays. And we definitely see why the rating is deserved.
Yeah, I'm hoping that she makes a comeback because remember I'm betting on her today for today, so hopefully she does make a comeback. But nothing against obviously to against Marty, but like like those were just blunders by Bekra. Like she shouldn't have made those mistakes. She had the full advantage, in this match, and I feel like the mistakes she has made really cost her. Yeah, as you said, it might be that complacency of her saying that I got almost this guy's double. I'm double his rating, so yeah, I feel like that complacency really might have kind of blindsided her. But as you can see, she is advancing and putting more pressure onto that bishop. That bishop, yeah, is really under attack. Is well, she can still like position it onto D. What? Okay, he wants to go for the queen exchange, but that if they go for the queen exchange, that means white loses the bishop.
Yeah, that's actually really bad for Martinez. Yeah, I'm not a fan of this move.
Same. I feel like maybe d4 could have been an option. At least in that way, the bishop is still protected, and it just gets it away from that b4 pawn from black. But now, obviously, if they exchange queens, then and white loses that bishop, and I don't think this is just this is a very side. This game keeps on going.
Why go for like pawn on b3?
Pawn on b3. Oh yeah, it's a third. Like there's so many. There's so many.
Go for this b3 pawn, right? Pawn on b3 as a response.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's so many good moves that white could have played in this position, and I feel like
I was thinking the same thing as you. Like there's so many just.
And that queen move, queen to e4 is just one of the worst moves. I'm sure Becker is also, started like, wait, well, why? White had the advantage. There was no threat. There was not that much threat. On the queen side. Brought by the black queen. I feel like Martin could have destroyed. Gotten rid of those pawns on the queen side, and then went for the end game. You know what I'm saying? And now like things are almost pretty even. So now. But now the problem is that two files are doubled up on white side. Yes, this is going to be a race. It's going to be one hell of a race.
So now,
yeah, Martin is going for that push.
This is actually a race that Becker's going to win because the double pawns, right? Yeah, the push is coming. Becker's won.
Oh, GG's.
Oh my God, Becker's going to win. Oh my God, that's actually, I am so surprised by the outcome. I was certain, that one huge mistake where Bekra ended up in a situation where you sacrificed like 2-3 pieces for pretty much nothing, and the second mistake that Bekra ended up making, where instead of going for the aggressive move, instead ends up effectively giving up a queen position, and she has to like sort of scramble to try and at least keep the queen alive. But somehow, some way, we still will have a potential victory here because Bekra. I don't see a world where she's not the one that gets the pawn promotions in this one.
Yeah, but no, like that pawn wasn't gonna make it, because Martin was smart enough to move his king quick, but Bekra was like, okay, I'm just gonna distract him with this and just push that pawn on the a file, because now Martin is just trying to clear the way for those doubled up pawns now, and yeah. Becker is gonna get there first. Unfortunately, this is GG's. This is GG's, man. Oh, GG's. Well, I guess that chance came by. So I guess, yeah, Becker didn't disappoint. Becker didn't disappoint.
And to make matters worse, right?
Yeah.
To make matters worse, all you have to do is position with those queen, right? You have this queen on A1 file, sitting, waiting to put your king into check. So you can't actually advance any of these pawns on E until you move the king out of the way, which only really sets up for more time that Becker can spend going on the offensive, going on the assault. And something we haven't brought up yet, Perfect, right? Something we normally don't have to bring up is look at the time now. Becker now has a slight time advantage, right? So now, here we go. Check. Slowly but surely eating up all these pawns. You have the time advantage. You already can see what the moves are going to be from Bekra before she even makes them. So that means that there's very little pressure on her to have to think carefully about how to make these moves. As well, there's all the pressure on Martinez to think about how to counter these moves. So if there's going to be a time run out, we know in which direction it's going to favor.
I don't think it's gonna run out. I feel this is GG's, man. This is GG's. She's gonna. I feel like Martin should just resign at this. Actually, Martin should have just resigned at the promotion stage. Like I remember what I said. I always say, like, if you know that this is a loss, just put down the king, man. Just put down the king. It's a sign of respect to your player, to the other player, because chances of Becker making him okay. I thought she was not gonna make mistakes, but maybe Martin is banking on her maybe still mating this. But I doubt that Becker would still mate this, especially in this position that she's in. She got a queen. If it was a rook, then it would have been a different story because not everyone is able to mate with just a rook and a king. But he just puts himself in the corner, and that's GG's. That's mating one. Well, well, I guess this is well played by Bekra and unlucky Martin. I guess. This is GG's. That was a nice match to kick off the
that's so
this week with us. this week with. Just looking at, there's still like two matches happening. There's still two matches happening against. We have we have Master P against Emilio Carlos. Master P being the highly rated
Master
player.
P is
Yeah,
dominating. My God.
Yeah, Master P is not taking it easy on Emilio. This is also pretty much GG's for white. Seems like the black pieces so far of the matches that we've been watching so far today and week 3, seems like the black pieces are the strong ones. Maybe today's color is black, or because it seems like this is bad for white.
You know what's happening, right? Everybody's like, they're playing African chess, man. Black is actually the stronger piece somehow.
I see what you did there. I see you. But looking at this position from white,
I think one of the things about like how the sport is set up currently.
This is me. Yes.
I was just gonna say, I was comment to the same thing, that like the position for white, right, is coming back in this situation would honestly require some mistakes to happen from Master P. The way things are set up is very like, it's like it'll be like 4 or 5 mistakes for a real comeback to happen, but
6,
I don't
7?
really realistically see that happening. Yeah,
Same.
a lot.
Yeah, I don't.
The thing is, you're winning this hard, right? Not having to actually use your secondary rook. You're not using your other knight. You're just having bishops, queens, and that's it. Bishops, queens, and one knight is just holding it down and destroying the other side of the board. Hell, these pawns are barely doing anything except for holding the position here in the middle of the board. So you've already created a situation where you're in a chase game, and you're in a chase game where all the chase is able to give you just losing piece by piece by piece by piece by piece. I think this is mate in 3, if I'm reading this game correctly.
This is mate in 3. Let me see. This is Mason. It's Mason 1.
Oh, 1. Wow.
Yeah, because he had those doubled up bishops there on those 2
to
diagonals.
A3.
So was bad. It was bad. Yeah. Okay. How many matches are we left with? I'm not sure if we still have one more left. Okay. This one is also done. So I guess we're done with round 1 of week 3. So I think we're about to jump into round 2. So in round 2, so do you want to start with the underdogs or do you want to go into the big dogs? Okay, let's give the underdogs some shine. We've been giving.
Let's go to the bottom.
Let's go to the bottom of the food chain. So we got.
Wait, we just saw Emilio Carlos. So let's do Carrot 9 and DD.
We got DDG ATL. I'm not sure Atlanta. DDG ATL against Call T. So I'm not sure if the match has started yet. Oh, it has. It's just that Kalti is, I don't know, maybe still thinking, massaging his fingers a bit, to make his first. We're still waiting for his first move. We're still waiting for White's first move. Does he know that he has to move first, or should he give him a tap on the shoulder, like, yo, bruh, let's go?
The journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step.
Yeah.
So this first step is very important. It does look like he's offline though, unfortunately. So I think let's look at another game while we give him time to like resolve the situation.
Okay, so let's check out I am Alpha. Okay, let's say Emilio against Mercy. Okay, there we go.
Let's go.
I'll just close this one. Yeah. So Emilio against Mercy. So Emilio.
It's an interesting position here that Emilio's gone in for. I very rarely see this.
Yeah, I never see that F push so early from from black side as well. And the knight on A6. Go be.
Right? That's what I'm thinking too. That's
I feel like black has really messed up his position at the moment, because look, white has 2 of his pawns, the D controlling that center. With the center belongs to white, and if you know anything about basics of chess, is that you have to control the center early in the game, because at least in that way you just have a bit of an extra advantage. And if you look at the advantage bar on the left, the whole advantage is to white. You know what I'm saying? So black has really messed up his position, because now his knight can't move to F. He can't now. He's develop his knight on the H file, which is another bad spot for the knight to be so early in the game. And right now his knight is under attack, so it's either he retreats back to A6, or that's the only move, is to retreat back to A6. And he decides to give it up.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't give it up.
No, actually, no, you let this one go. This is fine, right? Because what you do here, you trade the knight, right? You lose the knight, but then you can instantly gain the rook if he goes for the knight trade. And also, you immediately put the other rook in danger with the bishop on a6. And you already have this queen that's sitting on a5 to threaten the a1 rook too. It's very risky. I'm not saying this is a good position to be in, but given the position you're already in, the moves you've already made, I think this is the only possible recovery in this situation. And I think now you sort of forget about that side of the board, right? And you try to envision a world where you can sort of develop down through the middle, get that knight that's sitting on h6 right now to be more involved in the play. And the things that looks like that's what he's trying to do, Emilio did decide for the d6 bishop move. I'm not sure about this one because I feel like this is overloading the protection onto this knight and no protection left for the knight on the other side. And sure, you end up with a trade, but if you're right now playing from Mercy or H perspective, you know that there's no possible movement from either this bishop, knight, or queen on the A and B files. You eliminate now the knights on the side of H6. Where are the mobility options now available from Emilio?
Yeah, like really, he's putting himself in tight spots. A lot of these pieces are under threat. White has moved up. Also, he has that nice pawn on the e5 square. So yeah, I think White might keep that pawn posted up there for a minute, and he has to move. Oh, he moves his bishop away from the diagonal, which is really bad because now that was at least an extra layer of protection for that knight. But it's really tough. It's really tough That's really tough because now the knight is hanging. So I guess it's either black retreats it as well.
Fine for now, I guess.
Yeah, for now it's still safe, right? But I wouldn't like to have my knight in that position. You just want to avoid unnecessary threats. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Especially when you're playing, a tight game of chess. If you're fighting for that 400 rands, for that top spot, you want to make sure that you're playing close to perfect chess that you can. As good as good of chess as you can, without making a lot of mistakes. But yeah, will we see a blunder from White? Because I feel like that could at least give some time to breathe.
Yeah.
So he goes for
huge blunder.
That was a blunder. Oh no, he just gave up.
I feel like the move that should have been done because now bishop.
He didn't see that bishop.
Just goes in, right?
He didn't see that
bishop on b3 just eats in on d5. Yep.
He didn't see that bishop there. It happens.
I think the obvious move in that situation was supposed to be moving like his own bishop from a6. If you rush that bishop, or not even just moving the knight into d3, then you can threaten enemy rook, threaten pawn, without having to actually be in a position where you're under danger yourself because you still have the protection of both the knight and another bishop. But now the queen is gone, all the space opened up. And remember earlier on when we were talking about this h6 knight being taken out by Mercy, this has now enabled more movement onto those files, right? Because there is no counterplay available from a knight onto that side of the map, or on that side of the board, excuse me. So what this means now is there's free movement for the queen. You can go for the check play, doesn't matter, because there's nothing to stop you. Like there's no threats at all. Immediately now it forces the king into a very uncomfortable position of having to just play constant, perpetual retreat. In fact, he might find himself, he won't be checked right now, right? But now the queen can just park here, allow Mercy to just sit and really think about what's the best way to develop further strategies forward with very little counterplay options being available for Emilio.
100s. Like now the king is just going to take a bit of a tour because all black's minor pieces are on the queen side, and the king is kind of neglected and alone. And after that move on a5, seems like Emilio has other business. He's trying to get hands on that rook, which is just a bit too ambitious. And it's just like immediately blocked by that knight move on c3, which is also developing it because that knight, even White didn't even need that knight so far. So yeah, this is pretty tight. Wait, does Mercy push his knight on b4 to b4 to just add more, just to kick that knight, just to kick that bishop away? I feel like that's
I think you just check on h6. I think is the move. Yeah, there we go.
Oh, and then after that
you check on h6, force away. There we go. And then after that, you can make your life a lot easier. Don't have to necessarily worry. I think you can even put the knight on. You can put the knight on h6, it's h7 itself, or onto f7 if you want to play hyper aggressively. Either way, it doesn't really matter all that much. But I think you just take the easy pawn. At this point, I think if you are Mercy, the priority for you is just going to be slowly but surely closing things out. That's a mistake. the knight is now in danger, and the knight's gonna get eaten
No,
up. So,
no, no, it was a
mercy!
check.
Got lucky because Emilio didn't take advantage of the mistake.
No, that was a check.
Oh, let's check. Oh,
Yeah, the
let's
king
check.
was
Let's check.
checked. Yeah, yeah. When the queen took that
Last
pawn,
check,
it
yeah,
was checked. So the knight wasn't hanging. Luckily,
Okay, okay, okay.
it wasn't hanging for.
Let's check now.
So yeah,
Oof,
but
okay.
yeah, that was Chai. Hadi, who's the next better player? So far, how many matches do we have left? We still have 4 matches left. So I guess we can jump on top of the food chain. We got Lazy Cash against Bekra Joy. Bekra. Yeah, so Bekra, like, also Lazy Cash has been, in the tournament for the past, since day one. He's been here since week 1 of the tournament, and he's been like in the top 3 before. So he's also another contender for that top spot, and I don't think he's gonna let this go easily. And looking at this, he does seem to be in a pickle, position wise. Black. Oh no, wait, white. Yeah. This is
Very interesting.
This is a very
So
interesting.
the issue of, I think the advantage.
Yeah, the advantage is too wide. Yeah, definitely the advantage is wide because she still has her 2 bishops on the board. Black only has a knight. The only thing that white doesn't have much is the pawns on the board. White doesn't have much as many pawns on the board. So I guess white decides to gets rid of that knight. Just open up that G file.
This is an aggressive move.
Yeah, it's very aggressive.
Yeah.
Like, just open up that position a bit more, and then because now the king is barricaded by those doubled up pawns as well as the rook, as well as the rook on f8. The king is barricaded into that corner. So yeah, that was well played. That was well played by white.
This is big.
That's
Oh my
that. See,
God.
that's the experience.
Unless-
That's the experience. You know what I'm saying? That's the experience coming from white. I guess the best move here for black is just to open up that position, maybe move the rook away, so at least the king has but now that can't happen because the black square bishop is
If she doesn't do that on,
this is pretty
I
much
feel like it has to
GG's.
though.
No,
It has to happen because if that doesn't happen, right, given where the positioning is, it's like mate in 2. Yeah.
yeah, it's me too because like right now it's almost like forced because the king doesn't have really many places to go. And the queen is all the way there, is all the way on the other side of the board, while the king is under fire on the king's side. So obviously he pushes, and she takes that rook, and then
Still mate in 2.
yeah, still
Seems like it
mate.
doesn't. Well, mate in 2 from this position. Yeah.
Mate.
And then GG. That was actually so sick from where we came in on the game. It seemed like just a matter of time for Bekra at that point. Because the situation for Lazy Cash, although you have like this very far deep advanced queen, like you mentioned, it can't really do anything back to where the king is, and also found itself landlocked. There was a pawn that's sitting right now on this d4 square that was kind of preventing any kind of retreat from the queen. And these aggressive moves were corralling the king into the corner, not allowing him to do anything with his movements. Makes it very difficult, right? Because even though you can see that I have some pieces on the board, I might have an opportunity, just still as Lazy Cash, playing from the perspective that you're just a few moves away from getting checkmated, and that's exactly what we ended up seeing.
Yeah, 100s. Yeah, that was like, yeah, from at first glance it looked like black had the advantage, but then when you look like deeply into the match, then you notice that nah. Yeah, this is pretty much over because I still had those doubled up bishops, and for me, if I had to choose between having 2 bishops or 2 knights on the board, I'll go for 2 bishops at any day, on any day, because like there's so many aggressive plays that you could do with 2 bishops, as compared to knights, because knights are limited, with that set number of moves, while you can put those bishops, you can put them somewhere in the corner and just have them eye down one diagonal. And if you have 2 of them, then they're eyeing down 2 diagonals and just limiting the the possible places for the opponent's pieces to move. So yeah, having 2 bishops mid game and towards end game is very, very it's a very, very strong position to be in. But looking at this, we can see that the board, it's an interesting position because white still has 2 rooks, but I'll give the advantage to black because black still has his knight and bishop. The board is still closed. It is still like close, so it's going to be hard for white to get his rooks in the game. And by the way, we're looking at the match between Taps Jr. against Luquisans. So Yeah, this is
and
yes,
Lequisance. Yeah.
yeah, this is a very tight, tough match. For Lequisans, because the board is closed and it's going to be
The
hard
way I'm
for
looking
him
at
to
it now, like
maneuver.
though, given the positioning on the board, yeah. No, exactly. I was about to say the same thing. Like the maneuverability is going to be an issue, and the only way out of this is to go for pretty much hail mary aggressive plays right now, and just try to force as many reactions out of taps near as possible. Because when you force those reactions, even if it doesn't put you in a better, more favorable position, and at the very least disrupts the opponent and forces them to play differently than what they would have otherwise wanted to. And like now, for example, I'm pretty sure that in an ideal world, I don't think that Loquisans wants to necessarily be retreating with this rook to try and hunt down a knight, because this knight you can either jump onto the b4 and use that to threaten onto the a2 pawn. Either after that you just immediately retreat into complete safety. I think that's the only move available to you. I don't think you do anything else because every other part of the board doesn't really help. Why, mate? Why, mate?
Just
Why,
gave up
mate?
his.
Giving up a free knight. Don't
Just
do
gave
it.
up a free
Feels
knight.
bad.
Oh yeah, that was a huge blunder for white. Yeah, for black. I mean, that was a huge ass blunder for black because at least black had that slight advantage with the knight on the board, and now black is only going to be left with the bishop. And okay.
Oh, this is even better, actually.
Yeah,
This is
I
even
guess
better because
doubling up.
Loquistas
Yeah.
does this right now. You force the situation where, yeah, you force the situation where because the oncoming check is just so evident, right? There's nothing that can be done by Tapsnia but to try and retreat with
Yeah.
his rook onto h8 just to make sure that he can defend the king from being checked, right? From being put into this really awful position. Now, unfortunately, though, the move didn't pan out exactly as expected. If it was a little bit cleaner, I think you could have actually forced out not necessarily a checkmate soon, but a very disastrous position. I think the mistake came in by going for the check a little bit too soon before you could necessarily get the hyper favorable trade. Nonetheless, though, you've taken out a lot of the special pieces, but there is still a bishop in the game. I think you are still favored because you can use your situation right now to try and take out these pawns, open up space for a possible promotion for yourself.
Yeah.
However, it's not the easiest thing in the world. All you have to do, though, is just make sure that you can protect the h-file pawn. It's advancing now, but we already see that the bishop is ready to stop it.
Yeah, I feel like for white now, he just has to get rid of as many pawns off the board, so that it goes to like a straight end game where it's just like a rook versus a castle. I mean a bishop versus a castle, and at least in that way,
Yeah.
the white does have the advantage. And I feel like the next move should be white probably. Oh, I was gonna say like just like threatening that and also blocking that
That
position
was so pissed.
from the bishop, to just prevent the bishop from advancing to that position as well. Yeah, but it's gonna be a bit tight for white. If white doesn't play this carefully, he could really blunder and lose this game because this is like one mistake, it's chai. You know what I'm saying? So white really has to play this carefully.
I
And
actually think Knight is losing right now, personally.
Lucas just offered up a draw, and denied, and it's denied. So I guess yeah, it hasn't been accepted yet by Taps Junior. I don't know if Taps Junior still wants to continue, but yeah, this is very very.
Taps Junior shouldn't take the draw. Taps is winning. Taps is winning. Don't take the draw.
Are you saying Taps is winning? Are you saying Taps?
Yeah.
I feel like no. I feel like if White plays this carefully, White could win this.
White is favored, right? Don't get me wrong, but it just feels. Sometimes you just feel sometimes intuitively that okay, looks like they're just gonna force out the stalemate. All right.
Yeah, it's a draw.
Yeah, fine,
Yeah,
whatever.
the repetition. So yeah, that was just a draw by repetition. I guess they both didn't know what to do there. But yeah, I think that was the last game of round 2. So now I guess we're about to go into the final round. And looking at the scores, we got Master P at 2 points. We got Bekra as well, also at 2 points. And we got Taps Junior at 1.5 and Luquisans at 1.5. So they were both consistent for that top spot. But now that just takes them off of the race. Not yet. Unless if Bekra or Master P don't if Bekra and Master P don't win their next last match, then they could, then Taps Junior and Luquisans do have a chance to grab that top spot. But yeah, I guess. Oh, and the match that we have
Unlikely though, but
is Master P against Bekra. I would love to see this, but Whew.
Yep.
Yeah, it's gonna be
This
tight.
is going to be the big one.
Yeah, it's gonna be the big one because they're both tied in first place. So we shall see what happens and who'll get that. Who'll get that dub, and whoever gets this dub here will win the 400 rands in cash. So who will take it? Who do you have your money on? Who do you have your money
Baddies,
on?
baby.
Who do you have your money on?
From what we've seen, I really like Bekra's ability to come back. But you already bet for Bekra, so I'm gonna say Master P. I'm gonna say Master P.
No, I didn't.
Because,
I didn't bet on
we
her
can't both
yet.
be, keeping for the same person.
Oh yeah, actually, I did bet on her in the beginning of the tournament. So yeah, please don't
You
disappoint
did,
me,
you
Becca.
did. You said at the beginning that you betting on Bekra to win the whole thing. Yeah.
But she does have, like my confidence did go down a bit after the first game because I'm like, okay, she made so many blunders. I'm like, okay, Becca, this is not looking good, But hopefully, she's able. I'm sure she just learned, from the first match, not to underestimate her opponent. So I'm guessing she's just gonna play a bit more carefully, especially in this last match, because Master P did show that he's nothing to play with. And then the other match we have is Taps Jr. against Lazy Cash. Yep, Taps Jr. against Lazy Cash. Lazy Cash lost to Becker in the previous round, right? So he might try to fight, to try to come back and maybe place in the top 3 so he can get some more of that cash prize. So yeah, because I think in the first week he came out 3rd, Lazy Cash. So I guess the best position that he could fight for at this point, because he only has 1 point. I guess he could fight for the 3rd spot, so at least he can walk away with something. Taps Junior fight for another match. For 2nd place, to be run up, because he does have 2.5 points. So if no one draws in the match between Becker Joy against Master P, then Taps Junior is in a good position of being 2nd place if he wins this match against Lazy Cash. So yeah, this is gonna be one hell of a round. Round 3 is gonna be one hell of a round. And this is by the way, this is the final round. So whoever is gonna be at the top of the food chain,
gets lit.
yeah, it's where it gets lit. Because now we got like the best against the best, and
Comes out of here.
And I guess you can say it inverse, like with the worst against the worst. So I guess let's go down to the food chain where we got TJ against Carl T.
The most unlucky against the unluckiest.
Yeah, the unluckiest today. These are the guys who are at the bottom 4 this week. I think time is running out for TJ, and there seems to be no connection problems. Everything seems to be fine. So I don't know if the time will run down and will this cause a forfeit.
Maybe let's go up the food chain then.
Let's gradually go up.
Bottom, so let's go up.
So yeah, so we got Martin against Mercy. Martin was the one who was playing against Bekra in the first match. Seems like he won his 2nd round, so at least he made a is this like a comeback situation for him? So at least like placed in the top 8. And he's going up against Mercy. So both of them are on 1 point each. So yes, and so far it looks like Mercy is giving. So far White seems.
That's a good.
Yeah, so far, because like all Black's pieces are in the game, almost like all of Black's minor pieces are in the game, while White still has yet to develop that knight on B1, and the bishop on B2 is like just Finkedo somewhere there in the corner onto B2. So White's position is not really as developed as compared to Black, because looking at the Black's development, even the king is already castled nice and protected and snug on the king side, and now Black is just gonna work on the aggression now, but White is still yet to develop and is still yet to castle. So I think this is pretty much a tight spot for White to be in, and you can see he's making those aggressive moves on the king side.
I'm actually not a favor of what we just saw here with this move, because earlier on I sort of think Mercy made a small mistake moving rook onto d8, because I think there was already enough pressure and protection being applied towards where the opponent is protecting on d5. So I think that was an unnecessary move, and more advantage could have been gained by Mercy. Unfortunately, this follow-up move, I don't think it does much for you, right? But we've seen the double pawn advancement here from Martinez on the F and G files, but it's not going to do anything to really threaten Mercy. There's still 3 pawns that are sitting pretty deep in, and that are waiting for defending the side of the board. You force away, I suppose, this knight, but the knight is very happy to occupy the spot that's now been opened up because you've advanced the pawn from f3 to f4. Now he's sitting here, a lot of avenues closed off. For example, this queen cannot occupy either slot, and the queen, no, goes onto d3, gets eaten up. Massive advantage here for Mercy. Like, I think it's really good when you get more out of the map, right? Or out of the board, excuse me, with fewer pieces, but you feel even better when you can force the opponent into occupying really bad positions, exploit them, and you still already have your own pieces on the board ready to fill up the roles and the spaces left in by the white pieces. So right now, for example, after this bishop had taken away the queen, instead of trying to go hyper aggressive and maybe threaten deeper pieces, just gonna be said, no, slowly but surely I'm gonna threaten between either the knight or the pawn. One of them will die. Which one of them do you think is more important for your game plan? If you move away this knight, you either use the bishop to take out the pawn on g, or the knight that they already have, doubly protecting either piece. This is just looking so good for Mercy. And to make matters worse, all of this is happening without even needing to actually utilize the queen all that much. This has primarily been one knight, one bishop, creating all the chaos in the middle of the board.
Yeah. Black is still on Super Saiyan 1. Black is still on Super Saiyan 1, and he's still gonna advance. Actually, not even Super Saiyan. He's still like, he's still like normal. He's still at like his normal state. Because he's still on the base. He's still on base form. And looking at at White's position is totally destroyed. Looking at the king side, is nothing there. The king is in the middle of nowhere at the moment. Nothing is protecting him. He like, this is very, very bad. And now after that knight move, White loses the knight. And I feel like Martin should just call it quits here. It's GG. Because this is pretty much over for him. Because now by him losing that knight and allowing, he has helped Black to activate his queen and put him in the game. And yeah, it's just a matter of like a couple of moves for Black to mate White, because the king is in the middle of nowhere and there's nothing that that White could do, because now there's that check which is now forking the forking the rook, and White is gonna have to move even deeper inside the board, which is even tighter, and that's a mate.
Yeah, it's checkmate.
And that's checkmate. So GG's.
I was gonna say,
unlucky to Martin, man. Unlucky to Martin. He was just in a bad spot. I feel like after losing that queen, he just was in a bad spot. But yeah, I just wanna just jump into the Master P and Bekra Joy game again and just see how that's going. And just looking at the time, Bekra has more time. She's sitting on 7 minutes, while Master P has been using his time, to think this through. Like, no one here wants to lose. You're at the finish line and you don't want to lose this, especially in this position. So Master P is taking his sweet time with playing his moves, and you can see this is a very slow game. But just looking at position wise, White White is deep into, has pushed up that e5 pawn into Black's territory. But it's not much to worry about at this moment. Maybe what Black might look to exchange it. And then after that, so both sides have castled on opposite sides. So Black has castled on the king side, while White has castled on the queen side. So this might be we'll see some maybe alternate attack points. But obviously castling king side was not in question for White, because that part of the board is totally destroyed. But yeah, looking at this,
definitely.
Yeah, things are looking good so far for Black. I'll give the advantage to Black at the moment. I mean, just looking at the
Extremely
engine,
good for Black.
Yeah, looking at the engine, the Black is highly favored here. But obviously this is still early in the game. Oh yeah, still relatively early in the game. So mistakes are bound to happen, and we've seen that Bekra is not immune to mistakes. So she has to be careful and play this very carefully, so that she doesn't lose the advantage that she has so far. I'm saying, I'm rooting for you, like at the same time, she has to play wisely to make sure that she doesn't lose that bit of advantage that she has, especially position wise.
Yeah, absolutely. Right now, the way she's set up is with something similar that we've seen to her doing across the day, where the priority has always been making sure you can control as much of the middle of the board with as few pieces as possible. And she'll sometimes sacrifice a position which would get her a piece if it means advancing the position on the board, which is, in my opinion, what can really separate good players from great ones. Always angling for the win rather than the satisfaction of eating additional pieces. So right now, with this pawn advancing move as well, putting some pressure out onto Master P to have to respond. I don't think the correct response is to eat this pawn. You either leave it alone completely or you advance pawn to d4. This bishop move though, I'm not sure about this one, because now if they decide on the side of Becca that they instead want to continue to control a further area, there's not much to stop them. And what additional threat is this bishop really providing onto the board that was already protecting the pawn that's sitting onto e5? The diagonals that it's sitting on right now, there's no real unleashing efforts. You don't really want to move the pawn that's sitting on e3 because that's going to put you in check. Now you just lose this pawn. And there's the only move that's available to you that you like is potentially getting the pawn on a2 to make the eat, because if you can't use the pawn that's sitting onto c2. So now there's an entire file that's completely unencumbered, completely unexpected. Can't deal with this, and you can't do anything about this deep rook move as well here from Becker. It looks a bit aggressive, but there's no punish, and whenever there's no punish, it gives you more time to set up another play. And look at this rook sitting on the c file, one move away from just jumping down, putting Master P in a terrible position. So now you really have to think about it, right? Do you preemptively start moving your king away to run away from the impending check by going onto the b2 square, or do you try to do something a little bit more aggressive by bringing back the bishop, advancing your own rook to try and force either the retreat or an aggressive eat from your side? What do you think? I think that's actually the better option. Yeah, d2 rook I think is actually really good, because now Becker, what do? Do you either retreat? If you go aggressively, you will use your rook. So instead of doing that, the defensive offense, because now you still don't lose your rook, you still keep this aggressive positioning onto the f2 square with the rook, and you don't allow yourself to be running away from your opponent when you're the one that's in an advantageous situation.
100s. Yeah. Having that rook on the second rank, they always say that rooks on the second and seventh rank are very dangerous. So white has to really get rid of the that rook on that position. But then even after this exchange that could occur, black is still going to find herself on the second rank. I'm not a fan of that move. I am not a fan of that move, because now this really puts white in a tough position. Because I can see what white is trying to do, trying to like at least protect, stop that, that double up rook situation to disconnect the two rooks. But then that really puts the bishop in terror, and now the bishop is gone for nothing. I see what was trying to do, but that wasn't the best way to do it. At least if there was an extra layer of support provided to the rook, that was gonna be better, because now black can just go back to that second rank and act like nothing ever happened. And that's what happens. And will white exchange? Will white go for the exchange?
Nothing changed. You're under no threats. It's all good.
Yeah, this is a very tight spot for white. Yeah, it's a very tight spot for white to be in. So he goes for the exchange, and I guess black is gonna go back to that second rank again. It's a very nice spot to be. It's a very nice spot to be in for black. But then now he puts the he puts the knight in front of the rook, just to at least remove that layer of protection. Maybe we could possibly see the queen being active as well, to come and provide more pressure onto that knight. Because I'm pretty sure the next move.
I don't think you need to provide the pressure on knights. I think you go like a3, right, with your black queen. You go on a3, you put the king into check, you force him away from the c2 square. That allows the rook to start eating that up as well. Now suddenly you've got these two extremely aggressive pieces deep onto the side of the board where there's no counterplay. We sort of saw in the previous matchup that we watched. Or was it the previous one or the 2 games ago? Where because of the movement onto one side, where the queen was sort of advanced very deep onto the board but landlocked, so couldn't actually do anything to help out when under threat. I think you try to force that same situation if you are Becker right now. And there's not really that much that, like, the only natural move that I see coming out of that would be moving back, for example, this bishop from d4 directly onto b2 to try and defend. But then, sweet, you're not really threatened by that. You still have an opportunity to use the queen to move elsewhere, put more pressure now onto the e3 pawn, because now the bishop can't move back to contract back to protect it. Instead, the decision is made to advance this knight. I suppose the idea here is to try go for the next move check, right? Force the king away from that c1 square. And there's not really a natural counterplay available right now, unless you try and utilize this queen right now, but I don't think it's the right thing to do. Just go for the eat. It is what it is. Take the advantage. It does mean that you're still open, unfortunately, against this king. And I think it's now a time limit. We're now playing time limit. We're now at the point in the game where it's about how Becca can really close up this vice.
Yeah, because right now this is a very tight position for white.
That's the first check.
That's the first check, and this is this is pretty much. Oh, this is over. This is over. This is chai for white.
It's over. It's 3 moves.
This is chai. GG's. So I guess Bekra wins the game, and that puts her in first place. But before this ends, I just wanna us to check out Master Lazy Cash against Saps Jr. But I guess let's just wait for this to finish, because I think there's just like one move left, and then GG's.
Yeah, there we go.
And then there we go. Checkmate by Becker Joy. That puts her at the top of the food chain. Nobody is turning her position. And who do we have left? So we have Luquisens in second place with 2.5 points. Then we got Master P in third place with 2 out of 3 points. And then we have Taps Jr. again. So Taps Jr. is still playing against Lazy Cash. They're still battling it out on their end. So Taps Jr. is really gonna fight for that win. So at least he can be tied in second place against Luquisens, so they can fight for. So they can fight for that second place spot. So if Luquisens
tiebreaker, but Taps Jr. is losing though.
Ooh, yeah, because Lazy Cash is bringing that heat, unfortunately. So against Lazy Cash, will be in contending for maybe third place. But like we'll have to check the standings properly and see the tiebreaker points that each person has, and if that's also tied on tiebreaker points, then we'll have to go into a tiebreaker. Then we'll have a third place, like a proper third place after that. But yeah, this looks pretty much chai for white as well, because the white only has a bishop and a pawn, and that pawn is also like stuck there. So yeah, this is pretty much over for white. I guess the best possible outcome for white here is a draw. In this position,
stalemate, yeah,
like a
you're just gonna try and force it out as much as you can, but you're also aware that you're working on limited time. Oh, this is actually good. This is fine. Yeah, I think we actually might get a stalemate.
You think? Actually, let's see how.
Yeah, because you can't actually get this promotion. Like you'll 100% sacrifice your own bishop, right, to make sure that this promotion doesn't happen. And this actually might be so. After that happens, you're now sitting one less bishop, one less pawn, right? And like with one, you have your own pawn and a king. You've lost the bishop. They have king and they have the rook. The rook can't do anything more unless they mate you in a couple of moves. If you play very intelligently from Taps Jr., you might be able to find a promotion here. But I think honestly, if we had 5 more minutes, it might have been a different situation. Unfortunately, you are playing for time, so because Lazy Cash has a time advantage, Lazy Cash is going to probably end up edging this one out. But I think
Taps Jr. goes in for the resign.
Doesn't matter.
Taps Jr. goes in for the resign. Oh, unlucky. GG's. And as you can see on the screen, Becker Joy takes it with 3 out of 3 wins. Luquisens takes second place with 2.5 out of 3 wins, and Carl T is in second place. Oh, is in third place. But I think there's 2 other people who are tied in second place. Let me just double check and see. We might have to go for a tiebreak here for third place, because there's actually 4 players. There's 4 players who are tied for second place. Oh, for third place. But yeah, this is gonna be tight. But actually, we'll have to look at the tiebreaker points.
All 4 of them have 2 wins, right?
Yeah, but
that's the tiebreaker points. Yeah,
yeah.
Carl has more tiebreaker points.
Yeah, he's sitting on 2 points. So I guess that calls it. I guess we can call it at that, because so basically how it works, the person with the most tiebreaker points, goes on top, on top of those other players he's tied with. And yeah, I think that's GG's. I think that's GG's for this week, right? I think that's pretty much GG's.
That is unfortunately GG. I wanted like maybe one show match between Becca and Luquisens or something, but sadly we're not gonna get it.
Yeah, unfortunately. But yeah, this was a nice tournament this week. We had like some serious games, some tough games, but I guess my prediction does come true. Becca takes it. She takes it home. She already has some accolades under her belt, so I guess it was the obvious decision. It was nothing I had to pick out of my head. For I didn't have to dig for it and like try to predict who's gonna win. It was, I guess, looking at her rating and also like her achievements, she was like one of the best choices for this week. But yeah, so gents, so ladies and gents, that was it for this week. I think we can just do the closing now, because I think we're done with all the matches. But yeah, this was the third week, and if you guys also want to participate and be part of the action, be sure to register on the chess on the chess series tournament page. Registrations open every Monday at 2 p.m. So be sure to register. Tournament page link is in the description below. If y'all are too lazy to go down there, I'll just like say it out for you guys. It's www.ekasiesports.africa/chess-series. Like I said, registrations open on Mondays at 2 p.m. So be sure to register and be sure to secure your slots. There's only 32 slots available per week. So if you guys think you have a chance, if you think these guys are patas and you think you are the grandmaster, then why not join? Why not participate and join? And even if you don't win, even if you're not in the top 3, don't worry. You still have a chance to place in the top 8 and advance to the playoffs, where you'll play for a bigger and better prize. But yeah, I think for this week, this is pretty much it. Do you have anything to say before we leave, Sne? Any like final thoughts?
I will say, everybody practice, study better. Clearly, they're the person with the target on their back, so make sure that you're ready, because as much as we're playing in the weeks leading up to it, ultimately, this is about the playoffs, so you need to be able to learn from the best if you're going to beat the best. So
100s.
Make sure you do that before we come on to the next tournament.
Yeah, 100s. Study your chess. Make sure you come prepared, people. Make sure you come prepared, because you want to make sure that you come here and you win it. You don't wanna like give anyone a chance here. You wanna make sure that you win every single game. Don't go for even the draw. If someone offers you a draw and you're like, nah, just be like, no, I'm good. But yeah, and if you guys were seeing those awesome deals I'm sure you guys have been seeing those red ads on the screen. If you want to get access to those deals and those ads, be sure to visit Vodacom World at Midrand here in Johannesburg to get access to those exclusive deals. Those deals are exclusive to Vodacom World, and just go there and check it out. We are there every Saturday. We'll be streaming FIFA 21, and so if you guys just want to pop in and say, hey, I guess you could try and come through if they allow us with the COVID restrictions. But yeah, just come through and just check out the entire center. Like and if you have a bit of cash, a bit of change in your pocket, you can purchase some awesome some awesome products from Vodacom World. They have consoles, they have the new PlayStation 5. I was there yesterday and I saw like some PlayStation 5s there. They have the new Xboxes. They have they have the latest phones. They got Oppo phones. They got Vivos. They got everything that you need. You can find it there. Anything like digital or any phone that you want, just go to Vodacom World. They'll sort you out. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it on our side here at Ekasi Esports. If you guys love us, if you guys love our content, if you guys want to help us and make us continue doing this, be sure to like, share, subscribe. Make sure to follow us, show us some love on the socials. Also be sure to follow Snare on the socials, which is at Snegrodamus. Did I get it right? Snegrodamus. Yeah, it's gonna take a minute.
Snegrodamus. To be fair, I made that handle before I was sure how it's pronounced. So
okay, so you even struggle. So yeah, I'll get into it. So yeah, Snegrodamus. Make sure to follow him on Twitter. Are you also on Instagram? Are you on Instagram as well?
I am. Yeah. I am, but I barely use it. Yeah, I barely use it.
Well, this is your time to plug. So be sure to plug in everything. You also got a YouTube channel as well.
Instead of plugging Instagram, go to my YouTube channel is Curve Thoughts. Go check me out on YouTube, and if you want to check me out on Twitch, twitch.tv/snakecasting. That's where YouTube and Twitch is where you'll probably find me the most active, rather than try to look for me on Instagram.
Yeah. Plus, he has some fire content. Make sure to check out his YouTube channel. Make sure to check out his streams. He doesn't stream only chess. He streams a bunch of other games. So be sure to check him out. I think I plugged you enough for this week, so at least you should be good. Or for me, follow me at Perfect Kanbeki on Twitter. My socials are pretty plain, so if you want to show me some love, just follow me there, drop me a DM and say hey. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it on our side. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you so much. We love you guys, and this is us signing out for this.